Chapter 6, Thursday, July 13th. Luke had plenty of complaints about shipboard life, but he couldn't say there was nothing to do. In fact, he'd never been so busy. The sails alone were a full time career. They constantly needed raising, lowering, trimming, letting in, letting out. Somehow, the state they were in was never the right one. When Luke and the others weren't fussing with the boat, they were fussing with the sea around it. Science stuff mostly: whale watching, plankton tows, identifying schools of fish. They did math with wave heights and water temperatures and indexed it to their location, which they got from the handheld global positioning satellite system. It was all supposed to go in their log books, but Luke could never think of anything to write. He was sitting on deck, trying to describe a fish he'd seen 10 hours ago, when a shadow fell over across the flashlit page. Captain Cascadin was unfolding his 6'5" frame out of the companionway. Evening, crewman. He noticed the logbook in Luke's hand. Ah, keeping a log is one of the great pleasures of life at sea. As the years go by, you'll read this over many times. Right. Like he wanted to relive his lousy trip any more than he wanted to remember the arrests and the trial leading up to it. But he bit his tongue and he said nothing. Captain Cascadin could be annoying with his long, boring speeches about the joys of sea, but he was a nice guy. At heart, you definitely had to respect him. Not like Ratface. Here's something that would make a fascinating entry, the captain rambled on, pointing to the sky. Notice the bright halo around the moon? According to legend, that tells of a coming storm. Count the stars inside the ring. 1, 2. That means the storm is 2 days away. Really? Luke was amazed. And that works? The captain chuckled. It's just an old salt's tale, but 100 years ago, it was considered science. He made a great show of lighting a corncob pipe. Today, we get constant weather updates by the facts. So there's no storm, said Luke. Ah, we're fine, the captain assured him. Rougher seas tomorrow, though. No swimming. Luke said goodnight and slipped down the companionway to the boys' cabin. Bad news, Evil Knievel, he said to JJ. No swimming tomorrow. You'll have to find another way to kill yourself. Bug off, yawned the actor's son. He rolled over in his bunk and banged on the bulkhead. Hey, ladies, which one of you want to come over and give me a foot massage? There was a scrambling around on deck above them, followed by the shuffling of shoes on the companionway. The furious face of Mr. Radford soon appeared. Hey, Richie Rich! The girls' cabin is on the starboard side. Behind the bulkhead is where I sleep. If I get any more invitations like that, you're going over the side with an anchor in your pants. Way to go, Luke muttered in a low voice as the mate stormed away. Ratface isn't the friendliest guy in the world as it is. Thanks for putting him in even a worse mood. We really need the grief. It's not smart, added Will in a softer tone. When he's mad at you, he's mad at all of us. Thanks for the life lessons, said Jay sarcastically. Don't you know who I am? My father is Jonathan Lane. And I'm Bugs Bunny's kid, snorted Luke. Notice the family resemblance? I am, JJ insisted. He pulled his sunglasses out of his shirt pocket. Small Paul Smith, the fashion designer, gave these to my dad in England last year. They're custom made. There's not another pair exactly like them in the world. Luke examined the sleek silver shades. On one earpiece was engraved, Jonathan Lane, the toast of London. P.S. Will was impressed. Your dad's an amazing actor. It all came together in Luke's mind. Rich father, fancy lawyers. If Luke had had that. This is just great, he exclaimed. You're allowed to be a maniac because you know your big shot daddy has the power to get you out of anything. Furious, JJ leaped out of his bunk and leaned into Luke's face. Well, I'm stuck here with you. So obviously there are a few things he can't get me out of, right? They stood seething, toe to toe. Hey, come on, began Will, but a brawl seemed unavoidable. And then a muffled sob broke through the tension. All three turned to follow the sound. Ian Sikorsky rocked back and forth on his bunk, his knees pulled in his chest. He was crying as if he had just met the end of the world. Hey, said Luke in a voice that was none too steady. Don't do that. Nothing's worth it. Yeah, echoed JJ, speaking as much to Luke as to Ian. Ian nodded and sniffled, struggling to get himself under control. It was Will who couldn't leave well enough alone. Ian, what did a nice kid like you do to get yourself a seat on this Windjammer cruise? I I watched TV, quavered the young boy, and his tears started up again. This time there was no stopping them until sleep claimed him.